program is brought to you by Friar Lawrence's Sleepy Time Sauce. Are you in a tragic, unrequited relationship? Are your parents unapproving? Did you happen to stumble into a 13-year-old girl at a masquerade ball and fall in love with her, despite not knowing who she is? Friar Lawrence's Sleepy Time Sauce is the sauce for your loss.
Hello, dear listeners. Welcome back to What the Ross. I'm your beloved host, Scotland's very own gossip girl, Thana Ross, and today's segment is hot and fresh off the printing press. The war with the Nords has come to a thrilling conclusion, with none other than Duncan's incredible leadership paving the way for our victory. We have an esteemed guest with us today, a man of valor, incredible prestige and honor. He's the Thane of Glamis and most recently Cawdor. My dear Rosslings, please give a warm welcome to none other than Macbeth.
Thank you, sir.
My pleasure, sire. So let's get right into it. Tell us, Macbeth, how was your time fighting on the front line against the Nords?
Well, Ross, firstly, I'd like to give a quick shout out to all the brave men who fought with great courage and pride out on the field, for the sake of our kingdom. It takes a lot of bravery to fight out on those battlefields. But forget about them, we're here to talk about me.
Yeah, of course. So, tell us about the battle.
The battle was ferocious, waging on and on for what felt like eons. Everything was dismal, black. That is, until I came through, sitting atop my noble steed, cutting through enemies with one hand on my blade and the other gripping a grocery list, because I forgot to buy the eggs for my wife.
Alright, then, sounds terrifying. Were you not afraid? Of the battle, I mean, not the, eggs?
Of course I wasn't afraid. What kind of soldier, let alone man, would be afraid of measly little war? Especially when fighting for our beloved king.
How noble of you.
Thank you, good sir. As a matter of fact, I don't think there's anything I've ever been afraid of. Well, I mean, there were these 3 odd-looking girls we met a couple of days ago. They gave me some bad vibes, but otherwise, nothing.
You say, who else was with you?
Yeah. After the fight, my friend Banco and I were out in the fields trying to find a place to, relieve our bladders. And all of a sudden, these 3 inhuman yet human-looking girls with big noses and large, pointy hats teleported in front of us, like out of nowhere, and we were all like, oh shit! Not because I was scared or anything, but because their noses were really big, and I mean really big. Plus, they told us some freaky stuff about the future.
Alright, so these women, they just appeared in front of you?
You bet they did, and they started spouting a bunch of nonsense and rhyming couplets like they were hobos or something. Could barely understand them. They just wouldn't leave me alone. Guess women just find me irresistible, huh?
I guess. I mean, of course, my liege.
But anyway, I stood my ground, asking them what their deal was, and all of a sudden they started referring to me as the Thane of Cawdor. Now, obviously, this confused me a tad, since the Thane of Cawdor was nowhere around us, and he definitely wasn't me. But not even a little after that, they started to refer to me as the King. That one definitely threw me for a loop, but Banco said it was because of a bunch of crazy talk. We had no idea who these people were, or what they meant, anyway. The thing is, they had also told Banco that his own kids would consist of a whole lineage of kings, which kind of threw him for a loop as well. I was about to resume my whiz in peace when all of a sudden a bunch of nobles from the nearby camp pull up and told me that I was now the Thane of Cawdor, since the old one up and committed treason.
Wow, what a crazy coincidence.
Coincidence? What if it's a prediction?
A prediction instead of a coincidence? What might you be insinuating, sire?
I mean, I guess it could be a coincidence, but think about it. How many times have 3 random magic biddies appeared in the middle of a field, somehow knowing your name and position, and correctly predict something that ended up happening moments later?
You do make a fair point, sire.
Well, at least I'm hoping it's a coincidence. You see, not all of what they told me was enthralling news.
Oh?
You see, the Cawdor part was great and all, but the king part was unsettling, to say the least. As everybody knows, my loyalty to the king comes first before anything else, and as a member of his cabinet, it is my duty to place the safety and prosperity of the king before all other endeavors. But if the witch's predictions of my thaning was right, I wonder if they could be right about other things as well. Receiving the title of the king is an unbelievable honor, but I'm not sure if I'm one to even deserve such a title at all. But my worst fear is if the only way I can get the title is through unjust or even despicable actions.
Oh, who might that be?
My apologies. It seems my wife has something urgent to discuss with me. Do you mind if I...
Oh, no, not at all. Dear listeners, please stand by as we take a break as our esteemed guest takes an important call. Welcome back, dear Rosslings. Seems that our guest is finished with his private business.
Sorry, good sir. It appears my wife was just expressing her excitement about the good news.
If you don't mind me asking, what did she say?
Just some things about my coronation is all. She's encouraging, to say the least.
Haha, well, sire, you can try your best, but Duncan will not give his title so easily. I mean, what are you gonna do? Kill him? I laugh at the very thought.
Well, my wife tells me the same thing, and I'm just a bit soft for that kind of thing and all. However, if it is my fate to become king, then I fear that killing Duncan will be something I must do. Oh, of course not. Haha, I simply jest. I mean, I consider myself far too loyal to the king to cause him harm. It appears, excitement is beginning to taint my thinking.
Alright. You had me worried for a second. Anyways, that is all the time we have for today. It was great having you on What the Ross, and I hope to see you again soon.
It was great being here. Good night, good sir.
Well, that's all we have for today, our special heroic guest, Macbeth. Hope you all enjoyed it, and I'll see you tomorrow for another episode of What the Ross. Hello, everybody, and welcome back to What the Ross. I'm your host, Ross, and today we have a special guest joining us for today's segment. Dear listeners, please give a warm welcome to Banquo. He's a dear companion of Macbeth, and today he's about to take a deep dive into the rumors surrounding recent events. So tell us, sir, how have you been?
To be honest, Ross, shit has been bleaketh as of late. All this hubbub about the king's death and Macbeth's coronation is happening all at once. It's been pretty difficult to process.
I totally get you, Royalty. It was quite a struggle getting you here on the show today, which probably has something to do with Scotland's recent victory and the sudden, unexpected death of our beloved King Duncan. God rest his soul. Do you have any comments regarding this that you'd like to dish out for the listeners?
I guess I'm glad I haven't lost my arm to the devil's infection. I received many a gash and saw many a man fall before, but why would we lose with Macbeth on our side? His blade is a burning saber that cut through the unjust blood of our enemies, and his heart noble and loyal enough to strike down the plague-ridden mind of MacDonald. He deserves any praise he receives. You should have seen him. In the darkest of hour, our light was the the King Macbeth.
Wow, what a guy. You speak highly of your companion, dear Banquo. Now, I gotta ask you, word on the street is that you and Macbeth were spotted with 3 lucky lasses off on the battlefield. Mind telling us what they had to say? Sounds like hesitation. Come on, Banquo, let us hear it. You wouldn't want to disappoint the good people of Scotland, would you?
No, of course not. I'm going to be honest with you, Ross. Those ladies you speak of didn't seem like ladies at all. They were like aliens. If my king and I hadn't been paralyzed with fear, I would have ran for the hills. It's not that it's related to the situation, but if they did tell us something about the future, I probably wouldn't have believed them. Even if they said my king would be kings.
The future, you say?
I'll speak no more.
Understandable. How vague.
Indeed.
It sounds like juicy stuff. Too bad we can't squeeze any more out of you. One more question if you'll have it.
Go ahead.
In the midst of our dire circumstances, your friend and cousin Macbeth has become our king and our princes have fled. What do you think this will mean for our dear mother Scotland? Seems kind of suspicious, don't you think?
I agree, Sir Ross, but we must tread carefully. Those who speak ill of the king speak ill of his court.
I would never dream of it.
Anyways, our Highness has always been a loyal and benevolent man. He dreams for the future of his family and the future of Scotland. Always an ambitious man. I can only question the strange circumstances we find ourselves in. With our future kings gone and our beloved King Duncan slain by his grooms, it seems all too convenient that he would inherit the throne. He dreams of serving his people as their king at the helm of Scotland's future. I just worry that he has too much ambition. A just man shouldn't have a fatal fall. Alas, I speak in out of place.
How serious. A just man he is. And we all hope for the long life of Macbeth. Do you have any last comments on the feverish state of our country? I was told that our livestock are eating each other, owls are slaying hawks, and ravens manifest in every dark corner.
I can't say anything, as it would be against our king.
A shame. Anyways, since your cousin is the king, I assume he's given you a high place in the court. I'll let you get back to your duties. Bless you in this dire time, sir.
And you, sir.
And now, speak of the devil, here's Macbeth back with us again.
Not now. I have business to attend to.
Never mind then. Farewell thee, my highness. Do you hear that? Wonder what that could be. Anyways, as I mentioned before, today's show is brought to you by Friar Lawrence's Sleepytime Sauce. At a loss, Friar Lawrence's Sleepytime Sauce. Unfortunately, dear listeners, I was trying to find Banquo for a last word on the situation of Our Lady Scotland. Alas, he's apparently left along with our king. The last thing he left me was a few ketchup stains on my carpet. We'll be back after these messages.
Guess you wonder where I've been. I searched to find the love within.
Hello, dear Rosslings, and welcome back to What the Ross. Your dear host Ross is back with another zinger for all of you still alive to listen to it. So, I'm sure most of you lovely citizens of Scotland have been made aware of recent events regarding our government. As a method of survey, I nailed a number to the bulletin board in Town Square for all of my Rosslings to call, and I'm here to give a shilling for your thoughts on how you feel about the state of our monarchy. Without further ado, let's start today's segment of Don't Shoot the Messenger. Alright, our first caller.
Hey Ross, thanks for having me on the air. I feel really honored to be here.
Hey, thanks for calling. Hope the bulletin didn't give you too much trouble. So, what are your thoughts on the issue?
As of now, I'm kind of suspicious of King Macbeth and his latest decisions.
How so?
I mean, silencing his fellow kinsmen for simply questioning him, you can't tell me that he doesn't need to be put in check.
Do you question him?
Well, no, not at all. I just think that it's kind of weird how he was speaking to his throne like it was scrutinizing him. Like there was someone or something there. But I guess it was justifiable enough. When his wife started dismissing it, saying how he's got a case of the crazies, the other noble Beth isn't as great as he thinks he is.
Interesting perspective, good sir. What do you think will be the eventual outcome if he chooses to continue his actions?
Honestly, I don't think Scotland can hold up any longer under his rule. People have been dying left, right, and center since he's become head honcho. And I heard that a member of his own court got their entire family put down under mysterious circumstances. The lack of transparency, the constant war, and the straight-up oppression of our people. You want a shilling for my thoughts? This isn't just any old dictatorship. This is an advanced dictatorship.
Is that so?
I've said too much.
Well, that's that. Moving on. Let's welcome today's special guest. He's a noble, valiant member of the court and has recently suffered a terrible loss at the hands of, somebody. Dear Rosslings, let's give a warm welcome to the one and only Macduff. Welcome to the show, good sir. How are you doing?
Not too bad. For the shape that Scotland is in right now, I think I could be worse.
I see. So, what are your thoughts on the whole Macbeth becoming king situation?
Honestly, I find it kind of skeptical how Duncan died and Macbeth mysteriously becomes king. In fact, out of everyone, he's probably the only one that profited.
What are you speculating, sir?
Well, for starters, I don't find it very believable how the two guards who were at the scene were somehow murdered by Macbeth before they could testify. He claimed he killed them in a moment of passion and anger, but he didn't even seem too bothered afterwards. Since then, I took it upon myself to hightail it out of there for the sake of my safety. You can't always trust people around you, even if you want to.
I completely understand your sentiments, Sir Macduff.
The people of Scotland need to see that Macbeth is a tyrant. Change is needed, and then trust me, it will come soon.
What do you mean, change?
Soon, Sir Ross, you...
Oh, my apologies. It seems to be a call from one of our listeners. Hello?
Hello, Ross. I have something that I think you may like to hear.
I appreciate the news, but the call-in segment ended a couple of minutes ago.
I'm aware, and I duly apologize, but this is dire information concerning Macbeth's wife, and what's actually been going on behind the castle wall.
Oh?
Listen closely, Ross. I know that everyone is busy pointing fingers at Macbeth to blame for his tyranny, and rightfully so. But the fact of the matter is that the state of our country is not his actions to blame alone. In fact, I have startling evidence that convinces me that Lady Macbeth may have played a part in his moral downfall.
What do you mean, Doctor? Explain at once.
Oh, what horror! What despair!
I've been the medical examiner for the royal family for years now, and the way Lady Macbeth's mental state has deteriorated has led me to believe that her hand has not been as clean as we were initially led to believe.
My hands! My poor little dainty, womanly hands! Out, damn spot! Out, I say!
What on earth are you implying? Get on with it, Doctor.
Lady Macbeth's constant sleepwalking fits have revealed too much information, perhaps even more than I am allowed to hear. She keeps screaming on and on about how the blood on her hands will never be wiped clean, and how the actions of her husband can never be reversed.
Oh, curse my husband and his cowardly deeds! Curse him and his court! Why wouldn't he tell me that he had slain Macduff's family 3 days prior?
Oh my god, I'm so sorry. I hit the wrong sound. Let me just... Oh no, that's...
Bruh.
Will somebody shut this thing off? Okay, that works. You still hanging in there, Macduff?
Dead? All of them dead?
Macduff! Macduff, I heard everything!
Hey, you can't be in here. This is a professional podcast.
That monster.
Macduff, listen to me. You can't let this get to you.
Why not? He killed my wife, my child. He probably slaughtered the entire castle, anybody that came in their way.
And how does that make you feel?
Angry.
And what are we going to do with that anger?
Get revenge.
Perfect. Channel that anger, Macduff. Picture your family's face and watch them as they whisper what exactly went down the night that they were slain. Channel it and tell me, what are we going to do with that anger?
Dude, what is going on?
Kill Macbeth.
Okay. Can we cut to commercial?
Kill Macbeth!
Cut to commercial. Cut to commercial.
I guess you wonder where I've been. I searched to find the love within. I came back to let you know. Got a thing for you, and I can't let go. My friends wonder what is wrong with me.